How's it going, everyone? In this video, we'll be talking about unit conversion. For example, converting grams to pounds. And we're going to talk about two different approaches, really three different approaches. One approach, or two versions of it, which is the proper, formal, correct way of doing it. And another approach, which is more of an intuitive shortcut, not really the formal way of doing it, but it is faster. So let's get into it. Say we want to convert 328 grams into some number of pounds. It's important to understand that the grams here is not just a label. It is an actual mathematical object. 328 grams is 328 times 1 gram equals some other number times 1 pound. So, keeping that in mind, we can treat G and LB the way we would treat variables and just solve this algebraically. We have our conversion ratios here, which is that 1 kilogram is 1,000 grams, which is 2.2 pounds. So, we can say 1,000 times 1 gram equals 2.2 times 1 pound. Divide both sides by 1,000. And we have our 1,000s cancel out here. And we get that 1 gram equals 2.2 divided by 1,000 pounds. Or 0.0022 pounds. So if that's what 1 gram is equal to, well then 328 times 1 gram is 328 times 0.0022 pounds. And then we just multiply those two numbers. 328 times 0.0022, and that gives us 0.7216. 0.7216 pounds. That is the formal way of doing this. Now, there's another formal approach, and I'll show you that here. We could write that 328 grams equals 328 grams times 2.2 pounds divided by 1,000 grams. Now why can we write that? Because this expression here is equal to 1. We're just multiplying by 1 because you have a number divided by itself, because 2.2 pounds equals 1,000 grams. We're just dividing a number by itself. And here we want to make sure that the unit we want to cancel out is in the denominator of this fraction, and the unit we want to convert to is in the numerator of this fraction. That way we have our g's cancel out, and we just have 328 multiplied by 2.2 pounds divided by 1,000. Now we have the expression just in pounds. And when we place that into a calculator, 328 times 2.2 divided by 1,000, we get our same answer, 0.7216. And why you want to make sure that you write this as 2.2 pounds divided by 1,000 grams and not 1,000 grams divided by 2.2 pounds is so that these units that you don't want can cancel out, right? So the unit you want to get rid of has to be in the denominator. The unit you want to keep, the pounds, should be in the numerator. So This is again the correct formal way of doing it. But what's the quick intuitive way? Well, I'll show you that right now. So here we want to work with conversion ratios that are larger than 1. For example, 1 kilogram is 1,000 grams. Our conversion ratio, 1,000, is larger than 1. 1 kilogram is 2.2 pounds. Okay, our conversion ratio, 2.2, is larger than 1. Now, here we're working with kilograms, so we're going to have to convert 328 grams to some number of kilograms. And this is the intuitive approach. So we have 328 grams. If we convert it to kilograms, should the number be bigger or smaller? Well, it should be smaller because kilograms are a larger unit of mass, so we need less of them to cover the same amount of mass. So we should divide by our conversion ratio. 328 divided by 1,000 equals 0.328. So that is going to be 0.328 kilograms. Okay, now we want to go from kilograms to pounds. Well, should we expect a number that's bigger or smaller? Well, we should expect a number that's bigger because pounds are smaller than kilograms, so we're going to need more of those pounds to cover the same mass. So, if we need a bigger number, then we're going to have to multiply by our conversion ratio. 0.328 times 2.2, and that is going to give us 0.7216. That is our answer in pounds. Okay, so we have 3 different approaches. The shortcut approach, the formal approach where we're essentially multiplying by 1, and the other formal approach where we're treating it as an algebraic expression. Notice that in all of these situations, we are multiplying by 2.2 and dividing by 1,000. Times 2.2 divided by 1,000. Times 2.2 divided by 1,000. Divided by 1,000 times 2.2. The arithmetic is the same. It's just a different way of thinking about it. And whatever way you find easier to think about it, go ahead. And this works for anything, not just pounds and grams or kilograms. For example, let's say you want to convert 57 centimeters to inches, and you know that 1 inch is 2.54 centimeters. We could use the algebraic approach and say that 1 inch equals 2.54 centimeters. Divide both sides by 2.54. Our 2.54s cancel out. 1 divided by 2.54, 0.3937 inches equals 1 centimeter. And then we just plug that in instead of centimeters. So 57 centimeters equals 57 times 0.3937 inches. And that gives us approximately 22.44 inches. And that is our answer. Alternatively, we could write that 57 centimeters equals 57 centimeters multiplied by 1 inch over 2.54 centimeters. Notice the unit we want to cancel out is in the denominator. That's what allows us to cancel out. And we are left with 57 times 1 divided by 2.54 inches. And that, of course, gives us 57 divided by 2.54 is 22.44. And finally, we can use our intuitive approach. 57 centimeters is some number of inches. Should the number get bigger or smaller? Well, inches is a bigger unit of length, so our number should get smaller because we need less of those inches to cover the same distance. And if the number should get smaller, then we need to divide by our conversion factor, which is greater than 1. So 57 divided by 2.54 gives us, well, that's what we just calculated, 22.44. Remember, when using this intuitive method, your conversion ratio has to be larger than 1. If we had written this as 1 centimeter equals 0.3937 inches, well, then this method wouldn't work because our conversion ratio is less than 1. And for this intuitive method, we need a conversion ratio that is bigger than 1. So, I hope that makes it easier to do unit conversion, and until next time, enjoy.